The Baldwin Phelps thugs moved into Mingo County and began evicting people who were trying to organize from their homes. We had a police chief in Matewan named Sid Hatfield, and I always point to Sid as maybe being our first political success here when you think about it. He was on the miner side. The coal companies did what they always did. They tried to bribe him. He wouldn't take their bribe. They wanted to put a machine gun in a strategically located place to control the miners, and he refused. The Baldwin Phelps came in on a train, evicted miners from their homes. Sid Hatfield and confronted them in the streets. Along with Mayor Testerman, a shootout occurred. 7 Baldwin Phelps thugs were killed that day. 2 miners were killed that day, and Mayor Testerman, for a total of 10 people. One of the more interesting aspects of that shootout, there was a miner named Bob Mullins. I want you to think about this for a second. He had just joined the union and was fired that morning for that. Came to Matewan, got involved in the shootout, and was killed. So Bob Mullins, because of his desire to have better terms and conditions of employment, to have a voice at work, was murdered by the Baldwin Phelps thugs that day. And that's the way things worked. If the coal companies knew you supported the union, they fired you, then they blackballed you, and then they evicted you. Some historians have looked at these events and said the union lost. I don't buy that, because in any all-out struggle, you're going to win and then you're going to lose different battles. But without these conflicts, without the miners rising up, we would have never become, by 1935, the largest union in the United States of America, with over 800,000 members. So how do you say that the union lost when a few years later, 14 years after Blair Mountain, we're the largest union in the country? And then we go forward from that place and form the CIO, the auto workers, rubber workers, textile workers. The greatest organizing event in history occurred after 1935, led by John L. Lewis and the United Mine Workers. So we owe a lot, in my estimation, to those miners who were willing to march on Blair Mountain, those miners who fought the Baldwin Phelps thugs on Paint Creek and Cabin Creek and fought them in Matewan, and people died to have this union. But I also want to point out here, as we conclude this, that without the efforts of those miners and all those fights that started back with the formation of the United Mine Workers in 1890, and those wars that were fought on Paint Creek and Cabin Creek, the battles in Matewan, and Sid Hatfield and Ed Chambers giving their lives for this cause, and the Blair Mountain March, maybe we wouldn't even have a middle class today. So we owe these people who went before us so very, very much, and it's so important to keep our history alive.